Good morning. So, the only thing consistent about my life is the inconsistency, especially now that I am self-employed. I'm in my 7th month of being self-employed. It's almost my 8th month of being self-employed. And I am loving it and trying really hard to stay on a schedule. I have made a lot of changes since becoming self-employed. My workouts are more consistent, my lymphatic drain more consistent. I no longer have the migraines that used to plague me almost weekly. And I have my schedule with my dad, but I also have more flexibility so that I'm able to help out more there. So we just got back from our trip to Miami, and I went to my dad's house this past Sunday, when I got home. I got home late Saturday night, and we went to my dad's on Sunday. And, we had a nice visit, and I made him, some food for the fridge, and I brought him some stuff to eat, and I cooked him a meal while I was there, got him all caught up on everything. And then my sister and my brother are away, so I'm going to be there. I was going to be there all week, so I kind of left some stuff undone to do back on Wednesday, left some food there to make on Wednesday when I got back. So Tuesday night, or Tuesday early afternoon, I get a message from my sister that she had been in touch with our aunt. So my aunt is like my last surviving aunt or uncle, my aunt, my dad's sister. And she just turned 90 last month. So I got the news that she was at my dad's house. Now she lives in Florida, so I was a little surprised. And she apparently drove herself up here, and she's just at 90. She is just a firecracker. I can't even. She doesn't look 90. First of all, she still dyes her hair red, but she doesn't look 90. She doesn't sound 90. Her mobility is not. Her mobility, honestly, in my experience of all the people that I know, her mobility is more like a 40-year-old. She's not. I'm not going to say she's got. She's as limber as a 16-year-old, but she doesn't have any trouble getting up, getting down, walking the dog, sitting on the floor, getting back up again. She can do anything. She drove up from Florida to Maine in 2 days by herself. I would think, as my parents got older, when they got into their 60s, they would take 2 or 3 nights to get to South Carolina. They would kind of take their time if they drove down there. By the time they hit their 70s, they stopped going down there because it was, too much of a drive, too much for them, for their age. 90 years old. Not only did she drive up here by herself, but she didn't tell anyone she was going to do it because she was afraid that people would try to stop her. So she didn't tell her kids that she was coming up. And so around, I think she said Virginia, they started contacting her, and she let them know that she was on her way to Maine. And they had a fit, and one of them may fly up to drive back with her. Not sure what the details are there, but it's crazy. And the reason that she did it was because, she just wanted the freedom to do what she wanted to do. She wanted to do it on her schedule, and she didn't want anyone involved. So she is with my dad right now, and I aspire to be like my 90-year-old aunt. It's amazing. And you know what? My mom has been dead for 7 years, and she worried so much about her sister-in-law. Every time my aunt would fly to Germany, Paris, you name it, the Holy Lands, she was worried that something was going to happen to my aunt in the she shouldn't be going over there. It's dangerous right now, or I'm worried about the flight, or I'm worried about her flying back in the storm, or I'm worried about whatever. And she may outlive everybody. I don't know, but she's great. And she was We were out there yesterday for probably 3 or 4 hours of just chatting with her, and her mind is sharp, and she is a treasure trove of stories and information, and I loved listening to her yesterday. It was amazing. I also yesterday took my dad's dog on a longer walk. Usually I'll just walk her out in the field or whatever, but near the house so that she can get a little exercise. But yesterday I actually took her on a 1/2 mile walk, and it was fun. It was not a long walk, but we went all down in the back field. My brother-in-law mows everything back there, so we were able to like go for a nice long walk. But there were flowers, there were birds, there were berries. Like it's July, so there were blueberries, there were raspberries. So I kind of like stopped and picked a handful of raspberries and blueberries, wild raspberries and blueberries. They do have a cultivated blueberry bush, like a highland bush or a high bush, or I don't know what they're called. But anyway, my parents always had one of those in the backyard, but these were like the wild blueberries growing in the backfield. And yes, I know my safety for my foraging because I grew up on the land there, so I know what I can eat and what I can't eat. So I had some blueberries and some raspberries fresh from the vine, and it's nice. It was nice. And so me and the dog were like outside in the back field walking around, and you could see like off to the side there was some tall grass, and you could see where the deer lay down to rest, and it was nice. It was just a peaceful day. And I'm getting a bunch of text messages now. When everyone's in town, my phone blows up. I probably should have shut that off. Anyway, but it was a nice day. So I have learned in my old age to not hurry. There were a lot of visits with my aunt when my kids were growing up. There were a lot of visits with my aunt when I was married, and the visits were very short. And I was worried, is my husband uncomfortable? Does he want to go home? Does he wish I had suggested that we leave earlier? Because if I suggested that we leave, then it would be on me. But if he suggested that we leave, then he'd look like an asshole. So, there was a lot of that. And I don't have that anymore. And I realize the things that I choose to do, even after I got separated from my ex-husband, my aunt would come up and I wouldn't go visit her because I was in the habit of not doing it. And, it was weird. So, I don't know. It's, I'm getting texts from my sister and everybody. So anyway, I'm learning to relax. I'm learning to enjoy family. I'm learning to enjoy the moment that I'm in. It has only taken me 53, almost 54 years to finally learn that lesson, and the migraines have stopped. I'm healthier. You guys keep telling me that my skin looks better, I look clearer, I look happier, I look more relaxed, and I think that's true. I think that I am way more relaxed, and I think that part of it is just really ignoring my text and enjoying my life. So that's where I'm at. I love you guys. I hope you take a moment to enjoy your day, enjoy your loved ones, enjoy the world around you. Take care.